The new Netflix documentary series takes a look at the life and crimes of John Wayne Gacy, with 60 hours of unearthed audio between Gacy and his defense team that dives into the perspective of the narcissistic mindset of the murderer. I watched Conversations with a Killer, John Wayne Gacy. Should you? Let's find out. How's it going, movie watchers? Thank you guys for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to talk about the 3-part documentary series Conversations with a Killer, John Wayne Gacy. This is the second installment of the Conversations with a Killer series. The first one we had was with Ted Bundy, and the second one focuses around John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy was a serial killer between 1972 and 1976 who raped and murdered 33 young male victims, the majority of whom were found buried under his house in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. 50 years later, DNA scientists are still trying to identify all of his victims. Now there are 60 hours of unearthed audio between him and his defense team that we hear for the first time on Netflix. This is a mixture of interviews and footage from the crimes and the investigation as well. Then also the audio footage as well between John Wayne Gacy and his defense team. This starts with his initial crimes in Iowa in the 1960s and all the way through his arrest in 1978. It focuses on the crime that have often been discussed over the last 4 decades. At first, it doesn't really seem to offer anything new when it comes to what it is trying to offer and recounting the different crimes and the people that John Wayne Gacy did kill. Even though the beginning of it feels like it's something we've seen before, the big twist of it all is that we actually get to hear the killer himself. And it's truly haunting. No remorse for anything that he did, explaining where his victims are. It's truly haunting to listen to. I watch a lot of Netflix crime documentary series, and often I'm not too bothered by it all. There was something about this documentary series that truly made me upset and very disturbed. If it was listening to him, if it was listening to some of his survivors, I oftentimes wanted to turn it off because the footage of the investigators tearing down his house, showing the bodies, listening to conversations between people who actually survived him, it's really haunting to listen to. I can't imagine going through this or being part of a family that went through this as well, because even just listening to it was truly disturbing. And this documentary series does not hold back, from its footage to the audios from it as well. It doesn't hold back and really just paints that picture of what John Wayne Gacy did. Instead of it being just a voiceover narration, it focuses on specific conversations between him and his defense team. Very specific moments of when he is describing what he did to people or where they are at. They focus on little lines here and there and then build off of that with footage or other interviews, so it's all very connected. It's not all just kind of going all over the place. You're just not sitting there listening to him talk. You're sitting there listening to very specific moments of that conversation and then building off of that with that footage and that interview. It just makes it even more disturbing because you listen to him and then you get to see exactly what had happened. There is 3 episodes and each episode is an hour long, and with so many crimes that he committed, it's able to fill each episode with other conversations and other interviews as well. We have insight to individual crimes, trials, audio from him himself and other law enforcement officers. It does bounce around quite often though, and it does rely on the on-screen titles to tell you the year and location. In the first episode, the story jumps from Gacy being a suspect in the abduction of his final victim to finding the bodies in the crawl space. It's a little uneven at times and it's a little hard to follow if you aren't exactly watching the screen and paying attention to those on-screen titles and following the years, because it does bounce around so much, and with so many victims, so many hours, could be a little jarring at times to focus on one thing and then bounce several years later and then going back and forth. Joe Berlinger also worked on the Ted Bundy tapes. He's also done a few other Netflix documentaries like the Cecil Hotel. I love his filmmaking in each of the documentary series that I have watched. It makes it a little more interesting to watch than just kind of like your average Netflix documentary series. I love the different angles and the tone that he's able to create in here. It makes it for a truly haunting experience, even if you know a lot about John Wayne Gacy or the Ted Bundy one as well. Just the way he's able to bring the interviews forth and pair the audio with those interviews and the footage, it makes it for a hard series to watch. One that I often wanted to turn off just because of the footage and also interviews with the survivor and how graphic the conversations are and how detailed they are. You got to feel that emotion from anybody that was part of these investigations or was a survivor as well. It is a hard thing to listen to. So before I give you my score with Conversations with the Killer John Wayne Gacy, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit that subscribe button to get it all in one spot. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this Netflix documentary series a B+. Thank you guys for checking my review for the new Conversations with a Killer John Wayne Gacy. Have you guys seen it by chance? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.